My name is Taylor Burns, and the topic I chose was the political issue of euthanasia. I chose this topic because I had talked about it in a previous class and became interested in it, and by choosing it as my topic, it allows me to do further research. So what is euthanasia? Euthanasia is defined as the painless killing of a patient suffering from an incurable and painful disease or an irreversible coma. Some of the methods used include withholding the patient's treatment, injections, drugs, carbon monoxide, helium, plastic bags, and dehydration. But the most common methods used are injections and drugs. Some background information on euthanasia is that it dates all the way back to ancient Greece. The Hippocratic Oath states that doctors should not give their patients deadly drugs, but few followed the oath. In 1938, the Euthanasia Society of America was founded to support the legalization of euthanasia. In 1994, the Death with Dignity Act was passed to legalize assisted suicide in Oregon. In 1997, President Clinton denied using federal funds to support euthanasia and purchase the drugs used, and the Supreme Court decided that there is no right to die. The only states that have legalized assisted suicide are Oregon, Washington, California, and Vermont. In Montana, it is based off of the decision of the court. Because of euthanasia being so controversial, it is very difficult to get the law passed in the rest of the states. The Republican Party's views on euthanasia is that federal funds should not be used to support euthanasia and buy the drugs used. Also, they believe there should be a ban on the drugs that are used during the procedure. Only 45% of Republicans agree with euthanasia, and the rest believe people should not be given the choice to end their life. On the other hand, the Democratic Party has not taken a clear side on the issue. However, Democratic frontrunners in the 2016 election were pro-euthanasia. Hillary Clinton believes it is an appropriate right to have, and 53% of Democrats agree with euthanasia. Some pros of legalizing euthanasia are being able to regulate the drugs that are being used and regulate the procedure that the doctor is performing. Also, assisted suicide relieves suffering that treatments can no longer do and gives the terminally ill the chance to choose how they want to end their life. Lastly, it saves families money on paying for treatments that are no longer working and allows medical funds to go to the people who need it and who treatments are still working for. Some cons of legalizing euthanasia include passing on suffering to the family by taking away their loved one sooner than they expected. Also, assisted suicide violates the Hippocratic Oath that doctors take. The oath states that doctors should not cause further harm to their patients and they should heal their patients. A fear that comes with legalizing assisted suicide is legalizing murder. What people refer to as the slippery slope is that instead of it just being legalized for the terminally ill, that it will eventually lead to it being legalized for everyone. Lastly, another part of the debate is that it's legalized for the terminally ill, that it will be legalized for the mentally ill. The problem with that is there are treatments to help the mentally ill, but they may see assisted suicide as an easier way to cope with their issues. My stance on the issue is that I am pro-euthanasia. I believe that people's lives should not be controlled by the government, and they should have the choice to die peacefully and painlessly. Their illness is going to kill them anyway, so there is no reason to make them continue to suffer. Problems that can occur with euthanasia not being legalized are the patient finding a doctor to do it for them, but the doctor does not have the training or the knowledge, or the patient decides to take matters into their own hands and commit suicide. This will add to the family's suffering by having them find their loved one like that and not being able to say goodbye. This is why euthanasia should be legalized.